ladies and gentlemen of Albany, the Vice President of the United States.
Good evening. Good evening. So, Albany, what can I say? You are the organization of my people. People who wear suits with running shoes. People who went to law school even though their mothers all wanted them to be doctors. And here we are, celebrating your achievements. I want to send a special shout out to your outgoing president, Sapna, the first ever South Asian president of AABANY. Myself and all the aunties are very proud of you. And also, a special congratulations to your incoming president, Terry, who I understand combines a background in investment banking with his expertise in the law, and who got out of GameStop just in time. Congratulations, Terry. In fact, congratulations to all of you at AABANY. Uncle Joe and I are applauding you all from Washington, and we hope to see some of you on the bench one day. Now, I have to go and make dinner for Doug. We are having a roasted emoluments clause with a side of immigration reform. Have a wonderful online gala.
At your online gala, that was amazing. Really, who needs beef medallions and fingerling potatoes in person when you can get the vice president and or a reasonable facsimile found online? Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the 2021 Asian American Bar Association of New York's Virtual Gala. My name is Kate Siahann-Rigg, and I'm your host for the evening, which is great. Now, unfortunately, because of the pandemic, we had to take this year's event online, but fortunately, that also means that unlike at Cipriani, for this gala, pants are optional. Just like all your morning Zoom meetings. You know who you are. I know who I am. I'm wearing massage sandals right now off camera. That's because, like you, I'm Asian, and sandals with socks are an important part of my cultural identity and business casual attire. Now, we are here, of course, to celebrate the achievements of AABANY, which, despite a global pandemic and a very difficult time for all Asian Americans, has continued to serve the legal profession and our community via remote operations. I mean, leave it to the Asians to figure out how to be there without actually being there, right? I mean, it's just like my mother, who's always in my head, like all the time. Right now, she's saying, not too late for medical school. Why you wear black all the time? So depressing. I hate your father. He looked like a pig. This year, we will highlight the amazing work of our members, student leaders, and the AABANY Leadership Development Program. And we have some very distinguished honorees joining us this evening, including Deputy General Counsel at BASF, Sneha Desai, and Queens College President Frank Wu. Also joining us will be the Honorable Denny Chin, Judge Denny Chin, and our current and incoming AABANY presidents. Now, this year's theme is Uniting for Justice and Equity. And let me tell you something, we unite with a stronger voice than ever because for the first time, our paid membership has surpassed 1,500 people. Come on, you guys, that's historic. I want you to unmute yourself right now and show some excitement. Let's just light up the chat feed right now with the thumbs up emojis and the clapping and the smiling with the hearts. Some of you who have been with us for a few years know that in 2017, Justice Goodwin Liu of the California Supreme Court led a groundbreaking study called A Portrait of Asian Americans in the Law. It's better known as the Portrait Project. Now, the Portrait Project came out with great fanfare because it really presented to the whole legal profession what's commonly known as the bamboo ceiling. That is, a barrier between Asian American law practitioners and top positions all across the legal profession, from the private to the public sector, and in academia as well. Well, the Portrait Project 2.0 picks up where that report left off. It continues to work to find out why we have such high numbers of attrition in higher echelons of the profession, and then why we have such low numbers of Asian American judges, general counsels, prosecutors, and partners, and hopefully it will reveal what we can do about it. So I have a challenge for you. This is a challenge we met last year, and with your help, we can do it again. We want to raise amongst our membership a total of $10,000 a year for 2 or more years to fund this very important work. But wait, there's more, and it requires only basic math skills, which is good for all of us in the soft professions. You know who you are. It's you and me. I mean, I should have actually probably gone to law school. I mean, as an actor, I played a couple of lawyers on Law & Order, but my Asian mom, she wasn't impressed by that. Right now, she's saying in my head, still not good enough. Even a veterinarian is a doctor. You shame the family. I have, in case you haven't noticed, PTAMD, post-traumatic Asian mom disorder. I'm sure many of you can relate, right? Anyways, the point is, AABANY so believes in what the Portrait Project 2.0 can do to help Asian Americans that they're willing to match up to $5,000 in donations from our members. That means, here comes the math, if even 1/3 of members give $10, we get there. I mean, you could just sell your kid's game console on eBay. In the long run, it'll help you get promoted, it'll send them a message about obedience, and I know that not every member is watching tonight or has kids they want to punish by selling their PlayStation, so here's what I want you to do. I want all of you watching to donate more than $10 to really help us reach this goal. It's so easy. Just text the word portrait to 44-321 and let's just get this thing funded, okay? This year, more than ever, with all the anti-Asian sentiment that has bubbled up during COVID, we really need more Asian Americans in leadership positions to advocate for our community. Let's check out this film, which will tell you all about the Portrait Project 2.0.
This was the first comprehensive study of the rise of Asian Americans in the legal profession over the last 3 decades or so.
That was a path-breaking, systematic analysis of how Asian Americans are situated in the legal profession.
This is the basic story of aggregate enrollment over the last 20 years. The high point was around 2010, and then there has been a more or less permanent reset downwards of about 25%. Asians and whites have followed similar pattern, decreasing very significantly in the post-recession period. Asian Americans show the highest decline among all the different groups. I mean, it's so significant that Asian American numbers are essentially back to where they were 20 or more years ago, to the levels they were 20 or more years ago. No other group has experienced that kind of regression. Both graphs show a leveling off of the number of Asian American lawyers starting in 2030. If we do no interventions, if we don't pay attention and we don't try to alter this picture somewhat, this is what is going to happen.
If we have taken for granted what we've seen in the last 10, 15, 20 years in terms of the growth of our community in the profession, we shouldn't take it for granted because it's going to come to an end. That's what all the projected trend lines show, unless we change something in terms of our outreach or in terms of what messages we're sending to members of our community who are coming up behind us.
So don't forget to text the word portrait to 44321. I know it sounds like a fake number, but I assure you it's real. You all send the word portrait to 44321, and I want you to pledge at least $50. Okay, fine, 25. Look, just stop bargaining with me. What are you, Asian? Just drink some jasmine pearl tea and pony up. All right, now, let's welcome AABANY's president, Sapna Palla, who has, I gotta tell you, she has led this organization with flying colors through perhaps its most challenging year. Sapna is a partner at Wigan & Dana with over 15 years of experience in patent litigation. She's an adjunct professor at Pace University School of Law, and she's a frequent writer and speaker on IP, pharmaceuticals, biotech, just to list a few. Her mom's proud of her. Please give a warm welcome, and I mean as warm as you can get it from your computer screen, which means maybe just mime wild applause in your webcam or put some clap emojis in the chat, and let's all welcome AABANY's president, Sapna Palla.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us for AABANY's 2021 Gala. I am so honored to be before you as president of this amazing organization that I could not be more proud of. When I stood before you as incoming president in February 2020, as we celebrated you and AABANY at our biggest dinner yet at Cipriani Wall Street, none of us could have imagined the extent to which our world would change just 2 weeks after that. Each one of us has faced tremendous challenges, both in our professional and personal lives in the past year. Yet together, we have risen to the challenges and exemplified our theme, stronger together, unity in diversity, in tremendous ways. Thanks to our sponsors, our board, committee chairs, and members, AABANY was at the forefront, actively promoting the interests of the Asian American community. In this most challenging of years, you have helped us grow to the largest we have ever been, over 1,500 strong, and given us the honorable distinction of being the largest and most prominent diverse bar association in the country. With you, we spearheaded the fight against anti-Asian violence and discrimination, promoted diversity and inclusion through our many programs, and supported the community in a time of great need. AABANY spoke out against anti-Asian rhetoric, harassment, and violence due to COVID-19, including sending letters to the United States House of Representatives and the United States Senate to urge them to publicly denounce the increase in racist attacks and discrimination. I'm inspired by our pro bono legal clinic, which immediately went virtual and continued to serve those in need. Our committees galvanized, and AABANY engaged in over 70 virtual panels, CLE courses, and networking events, and welcomed 400 attendees to the fall conference. We met with Secretary Jay Johnson to make recommendations to his review and report of racial bias in the New York State court system. We joined other bar associations in condemning the violence which unfolded in our capital. Our voice has been heard. Members of the press have recognized AABANY as New York State's most vocal attorney group. And that was not all. We launched our legal referral and information service devoted to providing legal services to the Asian American community. We relaunched our advisory committee, and our leadership development program has continued to thrive. None of this work that AABANY does is possible without the generous support of our sponsors. Thank you to our platinum, gold, silver, bronze, and corporate sponsors for your continued support and partnership. I want to especially highlight our diamond sponsor, Broadridge. AABANY lawyers from prominent firms will testify that Broadridge is the best and most efficient financial disclosure firm in the market today. Thank you to our honorees, Frank Wu and Sneha Desai, for gracing us with your presence this evening. You are true models of inspiration for all of us, and we are so pleased that you are part of the AABANY family. To our board, Executive Director Young Shen, and Terry Shen, our incoming president, thank you for being incredible partners in carrying out AABANY's mission. To my firm, Wiggin & Dana, thank you for your tremendous support of AABANY and me. And to my husband, Prasad, and the two pieces of our hearts, our amazing boys, Ahan and Aryan, thank you for your love and support. Thank you all for joining us. Enjoy the evening, stay safe, be well, and I look forward to seeing you in person soon.
Amazing. Thank you, Sapna. You know, I think it's very hot that our first South Asian woman president was here during the inauguration of the first South Asian woman vice president, which is why I am wearing my favorite hot sauce as a tribute to you. Now, speaking of tasty, let's bring out young Shen, who, when he's not trying to do his best Fred Astaire impression in the ballroom, serves as AABANY's executive director. And he will present this year's Law Firm Diversity Award.
A key part of AABANY's mission is promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion in our profession. Since 2014, AABANY has recognized a firm each year that has demonstrated a strong commitment to advancing diversity, equity, and inclusion in the legal profession. This year, we are pleased to present our Law Firm Diversity Award to Kirkland and Ellis. Kirkland has developed numerous initiatives and programs to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion at the firm and to address the barriers and obstacles that hinder diverse attorneys from reaching the heights of the profession. Kirkland has been an active participant in the Leadership Council on Legal Diversity and a longstanding supporter of the SEO Fellowship Program. At this time, I ask Ed Lee, a director on the AABANY board and a corporate partner at Kirkland, to come up and accept the 2021 AABANY Law Firm Diversity Award.
Thank you, Yang, and on behalf of all of my colleagues at Kirkland and Ellis, thank you, AABANY, for this important award, and more importantly, for AABANY's decades of work on behalf of underrepresented minorities in the legal profession. It's all the more meaningful to be recognized in the midst of both the challenges we have all faced over the last year and the long overdue rise of diversity, equity, and inclusion at the forefront of national conversation. We all have a long way to go, but since I've joined Kirkland and Ellis, I've been incredibly proud of the firm's genuine commitment to being a leader in diversity and inclusion in the legal profession. Let's all keep pushing the boundaries together and see you all in person next year.
Well, thank you to Kirkland and Ellis for all that you do to enhance diversity, equity, and inclusion in the legal profession. Now, it's time for this year's Women's Leadership Award. The Women's Leadership Award is given to someone in the legal profession who has shown exemplary leadership and advocated for the advancement of women by providing mentorship in areas of law where women are especially underrepresented, and whose achievements all contribute to furthering gender equality, women's empowerment, freedom, and the elimination of gender-based discrimination. AABANY is pleased to present the award to Sneha Desai, Deputy GC at BASF. So let's all clap emoji for her now. Put the thumbs up. Woo! And let's all meet Sneha.
The Asian American Bar Association of New York is honored to present the 2021 AABANY Women's Leadership Award to Sneha Desai, Deputy General Counsel of Litigation at BASF Corporation, the North American affiliate of BASF SE, the largest chemical producer in the world. Sneha attended Villanova University for her undergraduate degree, followed by the University of Pennsylvania Law School. After law school, she clerked for the Honorable Justice James H. Coleman, Jr. on the New Jersey Supreme Court. In January 2008, Sneha joined the litigation department at BASF Corporation in Florham Park, New Jersey, where she rose to Deputy General Counsel of Litigation, managing the company's litigation portfolio in North America and overseeing BASF's litigation policies and procedures.
In addition to being just an absolutely terrific lawyer, one thing I can say about Sneha is that she actually gets stuff done. When you're talking about a topic like diversity, it's one thing to talk about principles and talk about statements, but it's another thing to actually do things, actually hold people accountable, actually make changes that advance diversity topics. And Sneha is somebody who does that. She actually gets things done.
Practicing at the highest levels of the legal profession, Sneha remains committed to her corporate and pro bono clients.
One of the things I noticed about Sneha right away was how accessible she is for her clients. Obviously, she's very sharp, very logical, and systematic when she approaches a topic. But when she approaches people, she is warm and humble and decent. That makes it very easy for clients to relate with her.
Sneha is also an active member of the Volunteer Lawyers for Justice, a nonprofit organization devoted to providing comprehensive legal services to the disadvantaged. Not only has she participated in their legal clinics, she also serves on the board of trustees.
many of our clinics, clients can come back for multiple appointments, and that many times clients would see Sneha after having met with her at a previous clinic and then request that they be paired with her again because they had such a good experience with her previously.
Sneha is also a founding member of IATI, a nonprofit organization with a mission to educate girls in rural India about optimal hygienic practices and to provide the proper materials to help them lead better lives.
I'm not aware that Sneha has dropped the ball on any one of her many pro bono activities. Sneha has remained amazingly dedicated to all these causes.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join us in congratulating tonight's recipient of the 2021 AABANY Women's Leadership Award, Sneha Desai.
Thank you very much to AABANY for this Women's Leadership Award. I am humbled to be recognized by this great organization. AABANY's long history of supporting Asian Americans in the legal profession is truly remarkable. It is through the efforts of AABANY and other similar organizations that Asian Americans have a strong voice, not only in the legal industry, but in society as a whole. That voice was heard loud and clear over this past unprecedented year. The COVID-19 pandemic wreaked havoc on our nation and continues to do so. This pandemic also exposed the legal inequities in our communities, particularly for immigrants, and AABANY stepped up to provide legal services to those in need. That voice will grow even louder with the historic election of the first South Asian and Black American and woman elected to be our vice president. Our daughters can finally see someone who looks more like them in the second highest office in the country. That voice needs to shout, not only in our own communities, but to support our Black brothers and sisters who, as the killing of George Floyd and other events of last year have shown, continue to experience brutal systemic racism in our country. It's clear that there is so much work still left to do. The collective voice of AABANY is strong, but that strength comes from our own individual voices. And each of us should use our own voices to continue to drive positive change. This award is particularly special to me because I have committed much of my personal and professional life to try to empower women and minorities to have their own voices heard. In the legal industry, I believe that those who are in a position of influence need to use that position to make positive change with respect to diversity and inclusion. We cannot sit idly by and let others do the hard work. I recognize that my in-house position allows me to influence the diversity initiatives of our law firms. And I have been a vocal advocate for making sure our firms have women and attorneys of color not only work on our matters, but lead our matters. And I don't just merely recommend that this be done. I demand it quite loudly and explicitly. For other in-house counsel listening tonight, use your voice, use your influence to demand that our law firms do better. Change has been slow, and it will still take years, if not decades, but we must use our voices to make an impact. In the broader community, I have tried to use my voice to advocate for those who really don't have one. One way is through the great pro bono work of the Volunteer Lawyers for Justice. Another way is through a nonprofit called IATI that I co-founded 5 years ago that is specifically targeted to educating and empowering young girls with respect to menstrual hygiene. We have directly impacted over 15,000 girls who have stayed in school and become leaders in their own communities. They now have a voice. I want to end with a quote from a true icon who we tragically lost late last year. When Justice Ginsburg was once asked how she wanted to be remembered, she said, "As someone who used whatever talent she had to do her work to the very best of her ability, and to help repair tears in her society, to make things a little better through the use of whatever ability she has." I certainly will continue to try to do whatever I can, using my own ability and my voice to continue to advocate for women, girls, minorities, and others as best I can to try to make things a little better. I encourage you all to use your voices to make things a little better too. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sneha, and congratulations on your award. It's very shiny. If you want to be a leader and get shiny things like Sneha, please text PORTRAIT to 44321 and show your support to the Portrait Project 2.0. Now that is what's called a segue, people, in my business. All right. Another way Albany is working to break through the bamboo ceiling is through its Leadership Development Program, better known as ALDP. This is a signature diversity pipeline program that cultivates leadership, and I hear involves a lot of free continental breakfasts, which is also known as carb loading, because when you're working for several hours before going to the office, you might need a little everything bagel and cream cheese and grape jelly. ALDP focuses on the development of soft skills like personal branding, executive presence, knitting mittens for Bernie Sanders, and good news, last year the program saw many of its participants promoted to partnership by prominent law firms. So how do you like them mittens, huh? Pretty fantastic. Feel the burn, more Asians in your office, let's go. Now let's hear from some of the participants and the distinguished faculty, none of whom are yet wearing meme mittens, but you all know what to do.
The Albany Leadership Development Program, known as ALDP, is an interactive leadership training program focused on helping qualified APA attorneys navigate the promotion process within their respective organizations.
Albany founded the leadership program in 2018, recognizing that there was a real need for APA attorneys in leadership positions, whether it was in law firms or corporations or in the government.
Our mission is really to close the gap between the high number of talented APA attorneys entering into these institutions and the disproportionately small number of them actually matriculating into the highest ranks.
I decided to take part in the ALDP program because I was really looking for a boost in my career. I found in my career that it's very hard to find people to speak to about career development, about career advice.
I decided I wanted to participate because I had been looking for Asian American mentors in big law and was finding it more and more difficult to find those mentors as I became more senior.
What really attracted me to the program was that it was curated for its participants. The participants were handpicked by professionals, law firm partners, and general counsels of corporates. And they were the ones who was really going to teach the program.
ALDP is a 6-month training program led by a faculty of highly successful attorneys who are leaders within the Albany community, as well as those who are supportive of Albany's mission.
I think this is a great program because one of the things that Albany has emphasized over the years is to promote Asian Americans to have more visibility, and this program allows for the participants to get information and to grow and develop within their industries, within their companies, so that they can be leaders.
The ALD program provides practical and in-depth guidance, career guidance to young and mid-level lawyers. The program is small enough that faculty and participants are able to work on individual situations together.
Throughout the program, the faculty not only gave up their time to spend with us, but very candidly shared their experiences.
I highly recommend the ALDP program to any associate.
I think the most honest and open conversations I've had about professional development and about promotion were in the context of the ALDP program, and I thought it was invaluable.
Albany is extremely grateful for the leadership and dedication of ALDP's faculty members and organizers. We especially thank and acknowledge our sponsors for their support of ALDP's mission, and we encourage all those interested to apply for the 2021 program.
All right, for anyone interested, the application process for 2021 is still open. Senior attorneys who are on the law firm partnership or in-house counsel track can apply through the online application on the Albany website. It's really easy. You should do it now. Do it for your mom. She still might not tell you she's proud of you, but you should just do it. Okay. Our next award is called the Impact Award. It recognizes leaders who exemplify the highest ideals and standards of the legal profession and have truly made an impact on our profession and in our community. Now, for this year's Impact Award, we are so proud to recognize the president of Queens College, City University of New York, Frank H. Wu. And we are delighted to have Frank with us tonight for a fireside chat with the Honorable Denny Chin, an esteemed judge for the United States Court of Appeals Second Circuit. Judge Chin, incidentally, was also the first Asian American appointed as a United States District Judge outside of the Ninth Circuit. In 2010, he was confirmed 98-0 by the United States Senate. Yeah, if that was my mom, she'd probably have said, why 98? Why not 100? A- is Asian for fail. Anyways, let's see what they have to say.
The Asian American Bar Association of New York is honored to present the 2021 AABANY Impact Award to Frank Wu, the president of Queens College, the City University of New York. Born in Cleveland and raised outside Detroit, Frank embodied the quintessential first-generation immigrant juxtaposed on the backdrop of America's heartland. As a member of the only Asian family in his neighborhood, he became all too aware of racial bias at an early age. Wisdom from those early lessons on the importance of diversity and self-acceptance has guided and inspired Frank's career to this day. A graduate of Johns Hopkins University, the University of Michigan Law School, and the Management Development Program at Harvard University, Frank clerked for the late U.S. District Judge Frank J. Battisti in Cleveland. He then practiced law with Morrison and Forster in San Francisco, before devoting his career to legal education. Frank served on the faculty of Howard University, the nation's leading historically black university, for nearly a decade. A consistent trailblazer, Frank went on to become the first Asian American dean of Wayne State University Law School in his hometown of Detroit, the first Asian American chancellor and dean of UC Hastings College of the Law, and of course the first Asian American president of Queens College.
Frank is a giant in legal education, but as he was blazing trails, he never forgot those behind him.
He had a gift, which was to organize and build community amongst all of us, and to build relationships and community, and so that we could support one another and help one another and be with one another.
Fearless, honest, generous, insightful, and yet he manages to do all of it while remaining very down to earth.
A prolific writer, Frank is the author of Yellow, Race in America Beyond Black and White, a book that takes a hard look at racial stereotypes for Asians, including the model minority and the perpetual outsider myths.
I want to tell you some of the things, Frank, that I've admired about you over the years. And one is your commitment to getting the story out there, to getting your work out there in front of the general public and not just other scholars.
Frank Wu has had an enormous impact on Asian Americans, lawyers, and Asian American legal scholarship. His writing has been instrumental, insightful. His engagement with the community has revealed a deep commitment to mentorship and actually elevating the public good. He's been an extraordinary person, and this award is well deserved.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join us in congratulating tonight's recipient of the 2021 AABANY Impact Award, Frank Wu. And now, President Frank Wu will be joined by the Honorable Denny Chin from the Second Circuit for a fireside chat. Ladies and gentlemen, Frank Wu and Judge Chin.
Frank, congratulations and welcome to New York. And I know you've been president of Queens College since approximately July. And this is after a long and distinguished career as a law professor and a law dean. And now you're running a public college with some 20,000 students, many of whom are undergraduates, and other graduate students who are not law students. So why the change?
I wasn't looking to be a college president. I wanted to come to be the Queens College president. And that's because of diversity. The borough of Queens is now the most diverse place on the face of the planet. There are more than 100 languages in use in the borough. On our campus, we estimate 83 languages spoken in the homes of our students. And Queens College still believes in public higher education as the engine of the American dream. So that's why I'm here, because this is a mission to lift a generation and a community.
You took over in the middle of a raging pandemic at a time when the country is really trying to confront racism in a more open and direct way. And so how are you doing managing these challenges?
Right now, we're 99% online. We've said that we want to emphasize safety first, and so we're following the science. You know, if you ask me, this is an opportunity. We're not just a college. Mainly we teach, we do research, but we're also a civic institution, and we have to be resilient and adapt. We have to be here for our students and for the borough. So I'm convinced that in the rebuilding to come, that will be not days and weeks, but months and years, that Queens College, like all institutions of higher education, will have a very important role to play. I'm determined for us to fulfill our responsibility.
And what about with respect to race? And I know Queens College has a long history of being committed to civil rights, including some well-known alums. What's happening in that area?
I say to our students that I'm just like them. I've come full circle. My parents came to the United States in the early 1960s. I'm 53. I was born here in the US on these shores. And at Queens College, so many of our students are either immigrants themselves or the children of newcomers. And so I identify with them. That mission is so important because to persevere, to have a reason, to be committed, you have to have a cause. The clock tower on our campus is named for the 3 civil rights workers, one of whom was a Queens College student, killed more than 50 years ago when they went down south to register voters. Corky Lee, who just passed away from COVID-19, was an alumnus of Queens College. He's best known as the Chinatown photographer, the unofficial photographer of all of Asian America. That's who we are.
Well, surely, Miss Corky. You and I worked together many years ago when, with your help, AABANY produced and presented a reenactment of the Vincent Chin case. How did you become interested in Asian American legal history, and what, if anything, do these cases teach us?
As much as we believe in the American dream, there's something not quite right, that we're not being welcomed the way we're supposed to be. And then the Vincent Chin case happened. I didn't know Chin, but I grew up maybe a dozen miles from there.
Did you go to law school because of the case? I think I read that somewhere.
Yes, yeah. That case inspired me. Probably most people at this gala know, but just in a sentence or two, in 1982, at the height of a recession in Detroit, the Motor City, called that because everyone made cars, Chin, a Chinese American, was bludgeoned to death with a baseball bat by 2 white auto workers who looked at him. They used those same racial slurs that I remember, that probably so many remember. And they blamed him for the success of Japanese cars. Never mind that he was Chinese, not Japanese, an American, not a foreigner. In their minds, he represented Tokyo and Toyota. So they bludgeoned him to death with a baseball bat. They never denied they did it. They always insisted, but
they pled guilty to doing it.
That's right, yeah. They were sentenced to probation for 3 years and a fine of $3,000. That changed the world for me. It changed the world for so many Asian Americans, because that case represents the Asian American experience, this mistaken identity twice over. You all look alike. It's your fault. Pearl Harbor, the Vietnam War, COVID, right? If you have this face, this texture of hair, shape of eye, color of skin, you're associated with the exotic Orient.
Now, you published your book, Yellow, about 20 years ago, and you wrote about race in America and how race relations had largely been a black-white paradigm, but it should be more. Do you think that has changed in any respect?
Yeah, absolutely, and Judge, in part, it's the work that you've done, because when you go back into U.S. history, you realize, wait a minute, there's been Asian immigrants all along. And they weren't passive, they weren't submissive, they were feisty. They litigated up to the United States Supreme Court again and again and again. They even won a few cases. I'm not talking about 10 years ago, I'm talking about more than 100 years ago. These Asian litigants banded together, hired white lawyers, the best lawyers you could find, and took cases where you would only have had a Chinaman's chance, they would have said.
What advice do you have for us, including for me?
You are a role model for so many. Stand up, speak out, go to the places that others wouldn't have expected, that you yourself might not have expected. This is what brings about change, not just in your own career, but for the community. Because when you show up there and you sit down and you speak your mind, you're making a statement no matter what. So all of us have a role to play.
Well, President Wu, congratulations on an incredible career. You've done so much, not just for the Asian American community, but really for all Americans. We are grateful for all that you've done and for all that we know you will continue to do.
Thank you so much, Judge. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Frank and Judge Chin. Listen, I have been holding this the whole time so you wouldn't be sued by the FTC for false advertising of an actual fireside for your fireside chat. Now, this is dedication. AABANY's student leaders are Asian American law students representing many different law schools that mobilize around important community issues and needs. Now, this year, they organized around COVID with postering and social media campaigns about ways to fight anti-Asian violence and get small business relief. And when the end of the COVID rent relief program was approaching last July, AABANY's student leaders rapidly organized an event in Chinatown to help non-English speakers determine their eligibility and fill out applications. Hundreds of people got relief. Then when the deadline got extended to February 1st, the student leaders stepped up again and helped community members with their rent relief applications. These student leaders also assisted with research on a report about the rise of anti-Asian violence during COVID-19, a joint project of AABANY and Paul Weiss. And they're still busy working on many other community projects to support New York's Asian Americans. Let's take a look at the incredible work of some of our student leader volunteers and what inspired them to get involved and give back.
AABANY's Student Leaders Initiative was created in response to the community-based needs posed during an exceptionally challenging time. Asian law students focused on providing assistance wherever they saw a need. COVID rent relief, community outreach flyer campaigns, pipeline-enhancing resources, and developing new websites for AABANY's Pro Bono Committee and Legal Referral and Information Service.
We started small. My hope was if we can just help one local, one family, with a legal issue, it would all be worth it.
I knew I wanted to participate in AABANY's Student Leaders Initiative because I saw the impact that COVID-19 was having on the Asian American community.
The pandemic posed unique challenges for the Asian American community, whether that was an increase in anti-Asian hate crimes or increase in discrimination against Asian American-owned businesses.
We went door to door for our flyer campaign to educate the community about resources available through our platform, and we assisted over 150 tenants with their COVID rent relief application.
New York's rent relief program provided rental assistance to people who had lost income during COVID and were unable to make their rent. However, the application was 14 pages long and needed to be completed in English. So AABANY was really able to bridge the accessibility gap there and make sure that tenants understood what they were doing, whether they qualified, and how to put together a successful application.
We are also working to create a podcast highlighting legal resources and information from attorneys that listeners can utilize as a guide and as a resource.
The Student Leaders Initiative is special because it fosters the next generation of Asian American leaders and forges lifelong friendships. It is the perfect environment to connect with like-minded peers, work on transferable skills, and serve our locals during this time of great need.
We're creating opportunities for law students to get involved by updating AABANY's information pages as well as working with the remote clinic. Overall, I feel like this initiative has prepared me significantly for how I can continue to be involved both in the community as well as with AABANY after law school.
Volunteering taught me that we should strive to be more than just legal advisors. We should provide a support network and be a source of comfort for those in our community who are often left voiceless and often overlooked.
I gained leadership skills from taking on these projects and finding creative solutions to issues that our community was facing. And I know these are skills that I'll find to be so important in every other project that I embark on in the rest of my career. So I'm really grateful to AABANY for connecting me with what I really wanted to pursue during this time, and these projects that really made a difference in the Asian American community.
Thank you to all of our student leaders for stepping up and making a difference during these unprecedented times.
Is this Asian enough for you? I am subverting a racial perception of Asians in the West right now, live in person for you. As we are discovering in the Portrait Project 2.0, Asian American legal professionals still remain incredibly underrepresented in positions of leadership, influence, and power. We have high numbers in law school and entry-level positions, but when Asian Americans try to ascend to the top of the profession, well, that is where we're not doing so well. The Don H. Liu Scholars Program is another initiative to try busting through that bamboo ceiling. It was created to help first-year law students who are the first in their family to go to law school and break down barriers to advancement. Let's hear what the program does from Don and the scholars themselves.
The Don H. Liu Scholars Program was founded in 2014 by two past presidents of the Asian American Bar Association of New York. The program seeks to identify, cultivate, and inspire future Asian American leaders within the legal profession by providing mentorship to ensure that each scholar starts his or her career at a prominent law firm.
It really started with Mike Huang, who called me one day on behalf of AABANY, who wanted to start a scholarship focused on financially needed students among APAs. Now, the scholars themselves are intimately involved in the program, both socially, professionally, and generally interacting with each other and training each other to help each other grow professionally.
I'm a first-generation immigrant. My family came to the United States when I was 7 years old. And so my parents are refugees, as am I, and we don't have the network or the knowledge of what attorneys or what a legal career is like.
DHL has provided me with tons of networking opportunities, all the way from talking to other DHL scholars who are just a couple of years ahead of me in law school or working full-time, to mentors who have had years of experience in the legal space.
One of the earliest memories of the program that I have is from the acceptance dinner after I was selected. I remember meeting all the program members, and everyone that I met was singularly focused on helping make sure that I had all the resources and support that I needed to finish my first year on a strong note.
My favorite part about being a DHL scholar is definitely the family. You know, getting to meet the other scholars, getting to meet the mentors, getting to meet the people behind the program has been an incredible experience and an incredibly empowering experience.
The senior members of our community continue to make themselves available even as I advance as a lawyer. They offer their time to me generously. They talk to me about different career paths. They talk to me about their experiences. And talking to them really encouraged me to become a leader in our community.
The one word that I would use to describe this program is family.
Optimism.
Supportive.
Family.
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 In today's world, racial equity is a term that's used often. But I view the Scholars Program as the ultimate investment in racial equity.
Well, congratulations again to Narissa Ganpat, Minji Kim, and Eric Lei for being selected as the 2021 Don H. Liu Scholars. And hey, thank you to Don for lifting up all Asian Americans in the profession, from the classroom to the boardroom to the C-suite. Don, you're the man. Or maybe I should say, Don, you're the Don. Don, the Don. Through our programming projects and events, all enhanced by the generous support of our members and sponsors, AABANY continues to grow as an organization committed to uplifting and representing the interests of the entire Asian legal community, which brings us to Terry Shen, AABANY's president-elect. Look, to lead an organization as prominent and successful as AABANY, it requires a lawyer of stature. Now, Terry is partner at Kramer Levin with a corporate and finance practice. He's worked in the U.S. and in Asia, and before becoming a lawyer, he was an investment banker. Wait a second, don't investment bankers make a ton more money than lawyers? And don't they get to like wheel and deal, leaving lawyers with the boring stuff like photocopying and writing addendums and subclauses and appendices? Terry, did you get this backwards? Do you have career dyslexia? Oh wait, are you still day trading GME? You can tell us. Did you make out big? Huh? Let's welcome AABANY's incoming president, the Wolf of AABANY Street, Terry Shen.
Hi, I'm Terry Shen, AABANY's president-elect. We are so happy to have you spend an evening with us. As we near the end of our first, and hopefully last, Virtual Gala, I'd like to take a moment to thank the people who inspire us, our sponsors, our members, our directors, officers, and volunteers who contribute an enormous amount of time in pursuit of our shared goals: diversity, inclusion, justice, and equity. AABANY is now in its fourth decade. How did it all begin? With a small number of Asian American lawyers believing that there would be some benefit from coming together as a professional affinity group, at a time when it was rare to see Asian Americans in leadership positions in our industry. AABANY was literally 30 people in a conference room, claustrophobic dinners at a midtown Chinese restaurant. Today, AABANY is a full-service, professionally managed, diverse bar association. With over 1,500 paid members, we are the nation's largest and financially strongest diverse bar association. Current political and economic conditions have exacerbated many disadvantages and hardships experienced by minorities. AABANY has remained steadfast in providing effective solutions to these issues: diversity pipeline programs, judicial diversity efforts, award-winning pro bono and community services, extensive educational panels and continuing legal education offerings, business development and networking opportunities. Despite the pandemic, we maintained an active calendar of approximately 14 events each month. Our pipeline programs have seen a substantial number of participants promoted to partnership by prominent law firms. AABANY has redoubled its efforts on racial justice, judicial diversity, and continues to serve the legal profession and its communities via remote operations. Again, I want to express our gratitude to AABANY's loyal and generous sponsors who share our vision and provide us with the support and resources to do these things. We look forward to uniting for justice and equity in 2021. I'll leave you tonight with a few words from Broadridge, our Virtual Gala Diamond sponsor.
Hi, and welcome to AABANY's annual Gala 2021. Never has the theme Uniting for Justice and Equity felt more relevant and critical than this past year.
We have long been a proud sponsor of AABANY and its commitment to ensuring the meaningful participation of Asian Americans in the legal profession.
Broadridge's end-to-end solution and keen focus on capital markets
help issuers and their advisors simplify shareholder communications, efficiently navigate capital markets transactions, regulatory and compliance requirements, and gain insights to effectively serve and engage shareholders to capitalize on what's next. We look forward to working with you all over the next year.
The Asian American Law Fund of New York, the 501c3 not-for-profit affiliate of the Asian American Bar Association of New York, seeks to eliminate prejudice and discrimination today and tomorrow. We fund scholarships and projects that help the legal community serve New York's Asian Americans. This past year, we granted law student interns scholarships with AABANY's Pro Bono Legal Referral Clinic, the Coalition for Asian American Children and Families, the Urban Justice Center, and the Center for Constitutional Rights. We fund and incubate projects. The award-winning AABANY Pro Bono Legal Referral Clinic provides free legal advice to hundreds of Asian American New Yorkers. Because of COVID-19, the clinic has moved to a remote format. the Asian American Law Fund of New York. Eliminate prejudice and discrimination today and tomorrow. Support us at asianamericanlawfund.org/donate.
Thank you, Terry, for your inspiring remarks, and thank you to Broadridge for supporting AABANY as a diamond sponsor. I'd like to give a little shout out also to ALDP for all your good work and support of the community. Now, may I kindly ask that you show your appreciation to AABANY by turning off your Robinhood alerts on silver futures and instead send a text to 44-321 to donate some dollars to the Portrait Project 2.0. And of course, thank you to everyone who has generously donated to our fundraiser so far. We really are so grateful for your support in helping AABANY fulfill its commitment to advancing the important work of the Portrait Project. Let's get together and let's help Justice Liu and the American Bar Foundation drop some serious knowledge and make some serious progress. Come on, this has been a wonderful night. I mean, my feet were massaged off camera. You got drunk in front of your computer. We raised some money. We celebrated the achievements of Asian Americans. And we had a visit from a photo of the vice president modified on my cell phone. What could you ask for more? We wish to express our heartfelt thanks to our incredible sponsors, members, and volunteers for your tireless support, commitment, and dedication to AABANY. It's because of you that we can develop diversity pipeline programs, help increase diversity on the bench, fund our pro bono clinic, offer CLE programs, and most importantly, help us cultivate future leaders in the profession. Maybe someday that bamboo ceiling will become a floor that we can walk across as we climb the ladder of success, empowering our community along the way. That's a lot of walking and climbing metaphors, but I think you get the idea. Thank you everyone for joining from wherever you are in the world. And to close out for the evening, we want to share some snapshots of past AABANY galas taken by the most respected and honored Asian American photo historian and journalist and longtime friend to AABANY, Corky Lee. Thank you, Corky, from all of us. And let us continue to work together in uniting for justice and equity. Have a good night.